Welcome, Tumelo.
Thank you, Matla. I'm grateful to be here.
The question of your own background as a financial advisor. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I work as a financial planner with Alexforbes. I've been with Alexforbes for the last 8 years. I advise and take care of clients, families at different stages of their working and personal careers, single people, married people, men, women. It's a whole diverse group of people that we take care of.
Now, when we talk about legacy, what are we really talking about, Tumelo? What is a legacy?
Sure. Being a financial person, I could talk about the wealth, the assets that you've accumulated and grown over time. But there's also the softer things, the memories, the feelings that people are going to associate with you while you're alive and even after you're dead or you've passed on.
Is this what we refer to when we talk about estate planning? And what importance does it have in particular to women?
This relates to the plans, the arrangements you make for the wealth that you've built in this life, how it's going to carry through to the next generation. We spend a lot of time working. We grow our assets over time. We accumulate wealth. And the same attention that you played and the level of effort you put in to build up this pool of assets, you must also make plans that one day when you're no longer here, how are they going to transfer to the next generation, to those people that depend on you, that you take care of financially? For women, particularly, it's very important. 42% of households in South Africa are actually headed by women. And if we look at the children that are being taken care of by these women, 45% of children are actually being raised by a single mother. Your estate planning, your legacy planning addresses and answers questions like, what is going to happen to these assets, investments that I've built over time? What is going to happen to my children? Who's going to take care of them one day when I'm no longer here? This is particularly relevant for the single mother who might not have another parent to take over those parental responsibilities. What about debts? Some parents find themselves sandwiched between not only their own children, they're taking care of family. Are those family members in a position to care for this money, take care of this wealth that you've built in the way that you would want them to? And of course, there are things like taxes that need to be paid when a person dies. There are costs and fees to be settled at that time also. And that is what estate planning covers. It's all of that and a whole lot more.
Wow, that sounds like quite a lot of expenses when somebody passes away. What role can life insurance play in ensuring that those costs, including taxes, are covered? And you spoke about the number of households that are headed by single mothers who leave behind children that have to be looked after. What role does life insurance play? And is it that important in ensuring that those children are looked after?
Absolutely, Matla, it is. Life insurance can be one of the tools that you are using in your estate planning. What life insurance offers is that it's a lump sum. Some policies can even be structured as a monthly amount. That lump sum could be used to settle debts. It could be used to pay for expenses like transferring houses and other properties when your estate is being wound up, pay executor fees, those types of costs. But also, it can play a very crucial role in taking care of your family. A lot of people, especially young families, might not be in a position where they've actually built up that level of wealth that can take care of their loved ones, their family once they're gone. There's a big income loss often there. So, life cover can bridge that gap between that wealth that's not enough and the needs of the family. So, very important tool in estate planning. Depending on where you are in your life journey, you might need life insurance for different purposes, but it's an important tool. Absolutely.
Tumelo, is there a common misconception around the difference between funeral cover and life insurance? And why do you think that is?
Yes, there is. Life insurance is very underused, and often funeral cover is used for the purpose that life cover is meant to be used for. Funeral cover offers you that immediate cash injection. It pays out within a number of days. It's money that's available to pay for your funeral, maybe a memorial service. Family could even use it to take care of day to day expenses while they're waiting for your larger assets from your estate to pay out. Many of us recognize this need to provide a bigger lump of money to our family. But what do? We will go and buy multiple funeral policies with different providers to meet this objective. This can work out to be quite expensive when you compare to what a single funeral cover policy with a larger payout would give. But also, there's limitations to how much you can have in funeral cover with a single insurer. The difference between the two also is that funeral cover is quite easy to buy. You can even get it over the phone. Life insurance is a more involved process. There's often underwriting involved. Underwriting means that you go for medical tests, there might be questionnaires that you're completing. So it's a more involved process, but both of those covers are important. They serve different functions.
That brings to mind the question around having a financial advisor and how that could perhaps assist somebody in determining whether it's more cost effective to have life insurance rather than having multiple funeral covers. Is that something you've encountered?
Yes, I have. So your financial advisor can partner with you, look at your financial situation. What do you actually need? And how much of it do you need? You might find that you are paying multiple policies. It could be funeral cover policies, life cover policies. Your financial advisor can work with you to work through what actually are you paying for? Are you duplicating some of these covers? Could you consolidate some of these policies into one policy and pay a lower premium? And it's important also to really work with a reputable registered financial advisor, because there is a buyer beware when you are changing things on life insurance policies. You must make sure that when you are changing policies that you are getting a like for like or even better.
Thanks, Demilla. When it comes to estate planning, what is the role of a will? We often hear about the importance of having a will. Why is it so important?
A will is a document that is going to speak for your wishes of what you want to happen with the wealth that you've accumulated in this world. It's the only document that is going to speak for you. It's quite important to have a will. I'd even say get your will professionally done, because as much as you can DIY a will matter, there are certain clauses and provisions that a professionally drawn up will have. For example, if you type up your will or even handwrite it at home. You might not have a revocation clause. What that means is if I'm revoking previous wills, it's often one of the first lines that you see in a will. It says, I cancel all previous wills. What if you don't have that revocation clause? You might end up with multiple wills that are all valid. And what if those instructions in those different wills actually contradict each other? You are introducing a court case, your family is going to fight, it's already a difficult time. So you can mitigate against some of those. A simple one also, while we're on that, is your will might not be signed and witnessed correctly. That is the same as really not having a will at all.
Yeah, it sounds quite tricky. So it might become a cost issue for some individuals. So if you want to put in place a professional will instead of a DIY, could there be cost implications to that?
There can be cost implications to draw up the will depending on who's drawing up the will. You can get your will done through the bank. Some banks will not charge you any fee for drawing up the will. You might pay a storage fee. Your financial advisor may be able to help you draw up a will. We also have National Wills Week where lawyers, financial institutions, and other professionals in the space are drawing up wills for free. Of course, if you have a complex estate, maybe there's things like business interests, you've got farming interests, investments all over the world, it might be worth your while to actually pay the cost to have that will properly done and structured so that you can, again, your wishes can be met and things like costs and fees and taxes can be optimized, because when you're dealing with large estates, that can be quite an important factor.
Tumelo, some would say, I'm married. My marriage regime will take care of all of this. Why do I need a will?
Everyone needs a will, Matla, regardless of your marital status. Even if you're married in community of property, you still need to have a will in place. Your marriage contract or your regime is a top priority to look at when planning your estate and drawing up your will. When a spouse dies, it's as if they're getting a divorce. So the division of assets that would have happened in a divorce will happen in death. If we married in community of property, we've got a joint estate, we each have a 50% share. I drawing up the will, I'm speaking to my 50% of the joint estate. If you married ANC with accrual, then at the time of death, there will be a calculation done. The accrual regime is a profit sharing regime, so depending on which estate is bigger, your deceased estate might have a claim against the surviving spouse if they have the larger accrual or profit, or vice versa, that actually my deceased estate could have a claim to pay to the surviving spouse.
Tumelo, when we talk about ANC, we're not talking about the
Not the
political
political
party,
party,
right?
no,
So
not
maybe
at
just
all.
explain
Yes.
what that means.
It's when you get married with an antenuptial contract. So before you get married, you go in front of a lawyer and you draw up the contract about how you are going to divide assets in the event of a divorce.
Oh, so it's short for
Antenuptial contract.
ANC.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tumelo. Tumelo, what other practical steps would you recommend, particularly for women, in preparing for their legacy?
I'll start with just a simple blank sheet of paper. Write down your assets. What do you own? Investments, property. Who do you owe? All those creditors, debts that you have, your insurance policies. This doesn't need to be a perfect exercise at this point. We just need to get it out of your head and onto this piece of paper. And then get your will drawn up, partner with a financial advisor, let them guide you, walk through the process with you. Once you've got your will together, refer back to that blank sheet of paper and start adding detail now to it. Add things like your monthly subscriptions, your debit orders, your expenses. Put in supporting documents in there, registration documents of cars, maybe the first page of an investment statement or an insurance policy document. What you're doing is you are building a live file that one day when the time comes that your family just needs to access this one file or a couple of pages, and they have a starting point instead of now having to scratch through boxes and cupboards and drawers in your house and just infringing on privacy and all of that. And that is quite common that when a
Right.
person dies, there's a lot of paperwork to sift through. But that simple file will help really your executor, your family members. I'd say also have important conversations with your family, difficult, uncomfortable conversations. Tell them what you want to happen. If the first time your family hears about what you would have wanted to happen is in your will, it might be too late. Some actions could have happened that can't be undone. They could have given you a funeral that you don't want. You could have given them context as to why you drew your will up the way that you did. You could be saving them a lot of heartache and pain and conflict and what if, but this is not what I thought things were. And on a lighter note, if you can afford it and you are in a position to, look at giving away some of your items, sentimental property, investments even, to your family while you're still alive. And you can watch and enjoy watching them make use of these things. Sometimes your family will have greater impact and a greater need for things now rather than one day when you're dead, and they've actually accumulated their own wealth. So it's not going to have the same effect and meaning that it would have had you given it to them while you're alive. But with that matter, I would say take advice, because there could be taxes, donations tax, things like capital gains that you're triggering, giving stuff away, and innocently so you thought, I'm doing this great thing for my family, and you created another problem for yourself.
So, again, before taking any major action that affects your finances, consult with your financial advisor.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Tumelo, how difficult is it to actually do that? We tell people to speak to a financial advisor all the time, but is that as easy as it sounds?
It's definitely easier now. It used to be much harder to access financial advice. You could go through your retirement fund. You might have a dedicated financial advisor without knowing. You can get in touch with Alexforbes. We've got financial advisors with a wealth of experience in these matters: estate planning, your investments, retirements. You can reach us on a number of ways. You can call in, you can WhatsApp, reach out to your HR representative. They'll direct you to a financial advisor if you are a member of the Alex Forbes Retirement Funds.
Are there any cautionary tales you could share with us relating to your experience of providing financial advice to women?
I would say to women, be selfish. Being selfish is one of the best things you can do for yourself. When you prioritize your financial well being, your own wellness, you will ultimately benefit the community and society around you. Because when a woman thrives, there are people that she brings with her along on that journey. So prioritizing yourself is also going to help the people that you care about anyway.